to the chief then, you say that he said that the time is the same response time, and we know for a fact it's not. We've had our own residents having to wait between 20 minutes and 30 minutes. We are on the eastern edge of the border of the city of Los Angeles. We're not in the hub of the city where you can have a circumference of all, or diameter of all the people that can come and rescue. We can only, the closest one is Lincoln Heights.
47.
47.
No.
And then we've had people that come from Eagle Rock for a rescue call. We've had people from South Central come on a rescue call.
Hollywood.
And from Hollywood. How can you say your response time is the same?
3 to 4 minutes.
It's not.
That doesn't work.
If I may interject.
Wait a second. We have, let him, you can answer.
Without looking at the incidents that you're referring to, it's hard for me to truly give you a good answer. I don't know. All I can tell you is that there could be a number of reasons why you may get a delayed response.
Oh, one of the reasons was they got lost.
Well, and that's
because
a
of our
that's a possibility.
Which are local.
But
that's
that can
why
happen.
We're unique.
One of the other reasons that you may get a delayed response is the type of incident. Now, when you say it took a long time for are you talking an ambulance to get there, or are you talking a fire engine or a company to get there? Either.
No one showed up.
No one has showed up.
In 20 minutes, she finally had her son drive her because her pacemaker was not working. And after 20 minutes, they said, that's it, we're taking you.
And we would love to do some research on that. If you want to give me that particular incident and when it happened, then we can research into it and find out what happened.
And is that going to bring back the brownouts?
No, no, it's not going to. But what it does is it gives you a better argument to support it. Now, let me say this from the fire department's perspective. From the fire chief on down, the brownouts are not something that we wanted to do.
Right.
You know, our job is to provide service to the community, and that's what we want to do. Unfortunately, we were presented with a situation in which they cut our budget by over 10%. The fire chief had no choice but to come up with a reduction in staffing, because when you're dealing with that large of amount of money and you look at our operating budget and 96% of our budget is salaries, there's no way to get around reducing that amount of money without reducing the staffing level. We looked at other issues or other areas that we can cut. You know, we shut down our drill tower, our recruit training academy. We're not hiring anymore to prevent from trying to reduce the amount of resources. If we try to continue to hire, and if we started or try to do some of our normal functions, then you would see a larger reduction in amount of resources. But that was the minimal amount in terms of reducing resources that the fire chief decided to do to try and minimize the impact to the community. Is it affecting the community? We agree it is.
Yeah. Betty Ann.
Thank you for being here, Chief. To your point with regard to the working group that's exploring the draft plan or the proposed, and it's unfortunate that you're put in this position, but for our understanding, can you share like policies or thresholds that you consider when you come up with this draft plan? Because to your point, and to empower the councilmen to understand the circumstances particular to this area, which are unlike others, I'm happy that you're talking about response time. Prior to this meeting, to be honest with you, I thought one of the thresholds was service calls. And I didn't think that, personally, without being an expert, I wasn't sure that was a valid, criteria. And because, for example, a lot of the community members walk to the fire station. Is that taken into account? People drive themselves. Is that taken into account? Does that get registered as a call? I think service time probably is a better threshold. Would you suggest then, is it proximity to other stations? Is it topography? Is it density? What other things are considered?
What we looked at, the biggest impetus for the revised plan was the workload, the impact on those stations that were being affected, particularly like ones that is close proximity to you, as well as 47s, which is in this general area. By shutting that one resource down in those particular fire stations, then the remaining resource was picking up the workload. So they were going on more responses. So that was one of the driving forces in trying to basically share the wealth, to rotate that closure throughout the entire city so that their workload didn't go off the charts and they were running their wheels off.